Hello everybody, how are you guys? It's time for another San Diego video. This time we're going to be talking about fence companies. So often you need a fence to keep out that neighbor that continues to borrow your stuff and somehow it doesn't find its way out of their garage back to your garage, its rightful home. So let's talk about it. These are 5 of the worst fence companies that you should avoid should you be interested in having a nice, secure fence that works. You're not going to want to give your business to these places. All right, let's just jump right into it. And again, as usual, as always, if you have information on other places that we should put on the list of worst fence companies in San Diego, then go ahead and let us know. And the first one is Vindictive Fence. Vindictive Fence, as you can imagine, are not that bad to deal with at the beginning, but if you have a question, if you call them for a repair, if you call them for any kind of service, then all of a sudden they are the vindictive retailer, service provider of your nightmares, and they're going to start accusing you of nefarious deeds, of back talk, of bad attitude, and you've displayed none of this. But just like in real life, a retailer, a service provider that has vindictive in their name isn't going to worry about whether you actually did those things. They are just going to attack. And for that reason, it's too much emotional turmoil for me. Let's put them at number 1 on our list. Mysticism Fence. Mysticism Fence applies a little bit of mystical magic to their offering, meaning that once they put that fence up, they're gonna apply some chants. They're gonna get out a cauldron, guys, and they're gonna do a mix of a potion that you've never smelled before. It's gonna have an odor that you won't be able to place on this earth, because a lot of the things that they're putting in there are coming from the depths of hell, and therefore it's gonna put a little bit of a difficult position for your family and friends and neighbors who will avoid your house. And you want your fence to keep out the bad people, but you also want to welcome in the good friends, the kind that come over when you invite them for a dinner party and they actually bring a nice bottle of wine. They don't just show up without a bottle of wine. They don't show up without a nice piece of cheese or something to, even though you didn't have to indicate, you didn't really say anything about the dinner party that they should bring an item. They have class and style, and they know to bring something when you're a guest in somebody's house. So those are the kind of people you want. You want to keep out those that don't show up with anything. They just, you open the door and they're standing there with their hands on their side, and they don't have any bottle of wine. There's no whiskey. There's no vodka. There's no nice cheese, perhaps a expensive salami, none of that. So that's who you want to keep out with your fence, but let in the good ones. So Mysticism Fence is off the list of good ones. They're on the naughty list. Now, the next one on our list is Potato Fence. Potato Fence, they're really friendly. They're really nice people. They make fences out of potatoes. It's a really interesting way that they weave the potatoes together with curly fries. They use curly fries as the connecting tissue between the potatoes, and it creates a nice thick fence. But the problem is, if you live anywhere where there's going to be rodents, squirrels, possums, skunks, guys, even the neighborhood dogs are going to eat that fence right up, and you're going to be out of a fence. You're going to be out of the money for the potatoes. You're going to be out of the money for the fence. You are going to be out of your money. Basically, all you can do is, once the rodents have started eating the potato fence, all you might be able to do is boil it and put it into some potato stock, maybe for a soup, maybe for, once you've boiled it and got all those germs out that it's been outdoors, sitting in the sun, then you could use it yourself. Just boil it down, throw in some salt, and now you've got a nice soup stock that'll last you for 4 or 5, 7 years. But again, too much trouble. A good idea, just didn't do it for me. That's on the worst list. Next is a treasonable fence. Now, you might think, what kind of fence would put you in a potential for a treasonous situation? And again, these guys, they are former CIA, former Special Forces, and they somehow got turned. They got turned by Russia. They got turned by some dark forces. And they weren't able to get a job after they were found to commit treason against the United States. So they started a fence company, Treasonable Fence Company. And they, on their side of things, I mean, because who knows in the spy versus spy world what actually happens. But they paid their due to to America, and now they're operating a legitimate business. And to their credit, they came up with a very good slogan. It's called Treasonable. Get your fence from Treasonable, where the prices are reasonable. All right, so not bad for former spies that don't have a marketing background to come up with a rhyming slogan that's going to create a little, what we call an earworm in your ear that'll make you remember that when you want a fence company. The problem I have is that the fences themselves are not very good. These guys are great at breaking codes. These guys are great at infiltrating enemy positions 30, 40 miles behind enemy lines. They can live on one piece of grass. They can take a piece of grass and live off that for 4 or 5 days out there in the bush, survival mode. But they're just not good at making fences, guys. So I'd say the quality's not up to snuff, and they're on the list. They're on the bad list. And next is Shamefully Fence Company. Now, if you're going to start a company, a retailer especially, why would you be ashamed of that? Well, Shamefully Fence Company embraces their shame, and they put it right in the name, and they will sell you all kinds of different fences. That's the thing. The variety of fences that they offer are off the charts. You might have a creative fence idea in mind. You go to Shamefully Fence, and they will be able to order it for you, install it for you without a care in the world. They do it every day. But the thing is, the whole time their face is red. The face is red of each employee you meet. Their face will be red from shame, because they're ashamed to sell fences. And look, you should be proud to be an American business. You should be proud to offer a service that provides people with value. So for that reason, it's just too much emotional stress for me to watch their faces so red. It looks like they've been out in the sun. They got sunburned, and I don't know. And plus, I want to work with people that are proud to operate in this great country. Well, guys, that's really the end of our list. I hope that helps. If you know any other fence companies that should be on the worst list, let me know. Leave a comment on the YouTuber, on all of them.